Hello and welcome. I'm Exit Light, and this is my podcast. And today, my partner in crime, Rob, is with us. Hello, Rob.
Hi Tracy, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Me, I'm absolutely brilliant today.
Good. We are living the dream.
Yep.
Today, Rob, we're going to talk about our bucket list haunted places that we would like to go
Mm.
before we die. And if my asthma keeps up this way, it might. I need to hurry. I need to get some tickets bought. Because got to get out. Um, and you put a recording up last week about your list places, and we had talked
Only
about,
four.
yeah, so we had talked about then of doing the podcast. So here it is. All right.
Haha. Check us out.
Yeah. Also, I'd like to say if you are not subscribed, please do so. Please go ahead and like this video too. I'd appreciate it. It helps the channel. And if you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, go ahead and click that bell. And I went ghost hunting
Mm.
to someplace sort of local with my husband this past week, and I'm going to be making a video of that, Rob. And I'm pretty excited well, because I got first off, got my husband to go ghost hunting with me. And after I did the hotel in Oklahoma, the Skirvin Hotel in Oklahoma, I didn't think I was ever going to get that happen again. And B, it's really exciting for me because I enjoy history, and it's a very historical spot as well. So I like to go see and feel history. So you guys stay tuned because that video is coming up very, very shortly. All right, Rob. Also, Rob saw something standing over him, watching him, and he's done a video about that, and that will be coming up shortly too. And and also, we're going to start a new series. We're going to be doing a new series that was suggested to us by Mr. Nomad. Thank you. And we're going to do the Alaskan Triangle. So that's coming
Yep.
up as well. And
Mm.
that'll be fun. Maybe we can cover all the triangles. They
Yep.
say that it's possible that they're vortexes
Yeah.
or
Portals,
negative
vortexes.
energy. Yeah.
Mm.
So we're going to investigate that as well. And then if you have been sitting around thinking to yourself, you know what I'd like? I would like it if Rob and Tracy went and explored a triangle. As a matter of fact, what triangle would you like to explore, Rob?
Bermuda.
Well, no. What triangle
What?
are we raising money to explore?
Oh, the Bridgewater.
The Bridgewater Triangle. If you thought, wouldn't it be great if they went on a road trip and went to these super scary places and they saw Bigfoot
What?
or they witnessed a UFO
Okay.
or they saw some ghosts, goblins, demons, and more? Well, on my front page, if you're using your laptop, if you're using no, a yeah, your laptop or a computer, on my front page is a link to donate to PayPal, and I will put the link under this as well. And Rob and I would get going and video it, take pictures, and try not to be forced to throw ourselves off cliffs. But I can't promise anything. Would we get more views if I threw myself off a cliff, Rob?
Yeah. I would have thought so. Yeah.
All right,
I've
then
got enough YouTube.
I might do
Got
it.
enough.
YouTube might not monetize it though.
YouTube might like it.
Yeah, they might. Like, phew, finally. All right. So why don't we get started, Rob, with do you want to go first on the
Yeah.
bucket list of places to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Right. Well, I'm going to talk about the one of the ones that I covered in my little short video, but a little bit more information.
Okay.
Myrtle's Plantation in Francisville, Louisiana, is somewhere that I would absolutely love to go and visit, stay
Mm-hmm.
overnight or for the weekend. I have done a little bit of research about the Myrtle's Plantation, and it is said that there have been maybe 10 or more murders on the actual site, which surprised me. But saying that after reading and looking at the research that I've done, it doesn't surprise me really at all. The most famous of the ghosts or apparitions that are seen are Chloe,
Mm-hmm.
who was a slave girl. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate saying that, but I hate
Yeah.
even just saying it, but she was a slave and she was owned by Clark and Sarah Woodruff. Now, supposedly, Chloe was caught listening at the door to some conversations between the Clark and Sarah. So, for some bizarre reason, they cut off her ear. Oh, just, I don't know, but that is what he says. So, um, they had two children. So, Chloe made a cake with, now I'm going to say this wrong, I think. Is it oleander?
Oleander.
Oleander leaves, which
Mm-hmm.
is supposed to be very, very poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is it a type of herb? Is it, Trace?
It's a flowering bush, and in Arizona, a good 90% of homes have oleanders in their front yard. In Arizona, you're most places you're not allowed to have grass because they don't have water. So they have what they call desert landscape, and so you have to have if you have a tree, it has to be the kind of tree that can live in a desert landscape, and cactus, obviously, and oleander bushes can live in a desert landscape, and then you have gravel in your front yard. But you get to choose what kind of gravel. You can have beige, more beige, and a little darker beige. And those are your house colors too, by the way. And so everybody has an oleander bush. I don't know why more people aren't poisoned, but yeah, they're very common in the Southwest.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's just a flowering. There's little white or yellow sometimes flowers on a little bush, and yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, it says that Chloe wanted to poison the Clark, the master of the
Mm.
house, but for some reason, only Sarah and his children ate the cake, and they all died. So this is a bit that I couldn't quite understand. She was hanged by her fellow slaves,
Mm.
and her body was thrown in the Mississippi River. I'm
Mm.
presuming she was, when it says she was hanged by her fellow slaves, that is because that is what they were told to do. I don't think they would have just
Yes,
done that off their
I'm
own.
assuming that they were yes threatened, or they felt as if they didn't, that they too would be killed or tortured. Yeah, I'm sure that it wasn't something they wanted to do.
Mm. And there's a really, really good photograph of
Hmm.
the actual there's two buildings to the plantation, and there's a figure stood, it's complete, not it's slightly transparent, and it's believed to be Chloe. And
Yes, and I have that picture put up on your last video
mm,
about your bucket list. So if they want to go see that, it is on there.
have you been there, Trace?
No, I haven't, but I've actually been to Francisville and didn't realize that that's where the plantation was. So unfortunately, I have not.
Would you like to go?
I would like to go, yes.
Mm,
Yeah, I think that that's
really
very
would.
interesting.
Yeah. Would you like to stay there?
I would.
Oh, you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to stay there as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't really bother me.
Just don't eat any cakes.
Nope. And I know what oleander bushes look like, so you're not going to trick me into drinking any oleander tea.
Well, can you make it into tea as well?
Yeah. Just steep
Okay.
the leaves.
Mm.
Not that I've ever thought of doing that before, but sounded weird. Well, here's another place that I would like to stay that is on my bucket list, and we can go to if we go to the Bridgewater Triangle. Lizzie Borden's Bed and Breakfast.
Oh yeah.
50 whacks with an axe. So, yeah, you can go stay in the Borden home. It's been converted to a museum and a bed and breakfast, where, as we spoke about something about this in the Bridgewater Triangle, that they actually leave photographs of the grisly murder scene. Like, for instance, um, the mother was in the bedroom on the floor, face down, whacked to death, the stepmother. They put the photographs down there and stuff, and then they kind of scare you all night, which I wouldn't like because I want to feel the real thing. Like, don't don't do weird. I want to know if I'm hearing actual noises, not have them confused with people trying to scare me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd like to take a recorder in there and I mean, a million people have done it. Lizzie's probably like, oh my God, if I just not killed these people, my death would be so much more peaceful.
Mm.
But I would like to go stay in there, in that room. I would love to feel the history of that. Because whether she did it or not, it happened. And so the feeling in there's got to be creepy.
I mean, there
So,
was that TV program, wasn't there, about um, Lizzie Borden, and they
yeah,
made her out to be a complete psychopath.
with Christina Ricci.
Yeah, she's killing everybody.
Yeah, 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 that was interesting.
Mm,
Um, I don't know if she did or not, but yeah, who knows? But I'd still like to go stay there.
yeah, I would as well.
Oh, by the way, that there was a two. This says it was a 2014 movie called Lizzie Borden Took an Axe with Christina Ricci, but that wasn't a movie. It was a
Serious.
series. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not true. Um.
No.
So anyway, you can go visit. You can call them up, get online, and sleep in the same bedroom where the Bordens took their final breaths, but in the same rooms. I was gonna say because the dad was downstairs in the living room, right? Or you can just go take an hour-long tour if you're too afraid to stay the night there. I would, I would. I'm assuming it's not the same couch.
It might be. You never know.
Oh my God, would that be weird?
Mm, yeah.
All right, sign me up.
I mean, as normal for our podcast, I'm going to actually mention Ghost Adventures, and I
What?
remember. I know he's not very often
So
that I do.
weird.
I know. I know. Take that poster of Zach down out of my bedroom.
He's on your ceiling.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to take it down. The girls want
Oh
to know where.
man.
My daughters keep asking who he is. Anyway, by the way, I haven't got a picture of Zach in my bedroom.
Yes,
I've
he
got a
does.
picture of a map.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, with a big arrow pointing to where Zach lives. But that's it.
Big heart. The arrow's going through the heart.
Yeah. Well, they did an episode um, in the Borden house, and they there's a bit where the drawer opens in the bedroom. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
You've
you've
got
said that. I need to go look it up. Is it on YouTube?
it'd be on YouTube, yeah, it'd be on
All right,
YouTube.
I finally need to do that.
And they had a couple of psychics go in as well, or mediums, or whatever they are,
Mm-hmm.
and they believe that Mr. Borden wasn't particularly a nice person,
Yeah.
but I'll just leave that there.
Oh, really?
He wasn't very nice.
Was there? Is that the reason I think that maybe Lizzie would have killed him?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's justifiable. If it was okay, I don't know. No, it's not justifiable to kill somebody who's not nice. I didn't just say that, but I'm saying back then
Mm,
she probably could have gotten off. Anyway,
yeah. Well,
whatever.
she did get off anyway, didn't she? So,
Yeah, she did by
mm,
just saying it wasn't her. Whatever she did quote unquote right, I guess. Okay. Um, where do you want to go next, Rob?
I want to go to Eastern Europe.
Oh.
I can't ever say this place. I apologise to everybody out there, especially anybody who's from Romania. The Hoyo Baku Forest. There's my
Yes.
glasses. Right. Did you know, Tracy, that in 1968, which is a very important year for me and you, well, for
It
me
was,
anyway.
it was the year my parents were born.
Yeah,
True story.
yeah. It was the year my parents were born as well. Well, a UFO was spotted in the forest, and that seemed to start off the paranormal activity, and it became known as the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. Obviously,
Mm.
Transylvania doesn't need any stories or anything because I think it's got enough. Just
Yeah, I think it's
you know,
good.
you know, Dracula's castle.
Yeah,
Well, there are quite a lot of people that know about that.
yeah. Um, help me. What? Uh, I'm sorry. For the record, before you type, what's wrong with her voice? I'm gonna tell you, I'm having asthma still. So you don't have to ask me that. You'd be surprised the amount of people that go, your voice, it sucks. Um, what's Anyway, it's causing me to like not have air, so I can't think. The Dracula's real name is
Um, Tracy, Dracul,
yeah, Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler.
I almost said
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin. Ah, same thing.
Oh dear, we're at it now. We're gonna be assassinated.
Hey, don't use words like this. I'll never get monetized.
Okay. You're supposed to be doing me a list of words I'm not allowed to say, but you still haven't done it.
I know them. I know them when I hear them.
Okay, well, don't help me. Doesn't help me, does it?
I'm sorry. Okay, let's not say that one again.
Okay.
Oh shoot! Did you hear my phone?
Oh, check it out.
Sorry. I apparently Vlad the Impaler made you too want to come on. That was weird. Okay, go ahead.
So anyway, a lot of people believe it could be a portal to another dimension. There is all sorts of different types of paranormal activity. There's ghosts, and there's a clearing right in the middle of the forest, and it's nothing will grow. The only thing that will grow is grass, and it's almost a perfect circle. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost a perfect circle, and they say that if you spend the night there in the middle, you put a tent up or something and light a fire, that round the edge of the tree line, because obviously you've got to imagine that you're in the middle of a big circle of nothingness, you'll be able to see ghosts and apparitions walking around the edge of the tree line, and there'd be noises and screams and things like that coming from within the forest. So it's supposed to be one of the most haunted forests in the world.
Well, when you were doing your video about that, you were saying that you thought it would be scarier to be in a haunted forest than in a haunted house. And when I spoke to you about it after I put the video up, I completely agree with you in that. And then
Yeah,
go
mm,
ahead.
because if you're in a haunted building, whether that be a house, a hospital, or whatever,
Mhm.
and there's loads of activity,
Mhm.
you can go outside
Mhm.
because usually the activity is centered around the building.
Right.
You could go outside, you could go and have a coffee or whatever, and then take a time out and then go back in or not go back in or whatever.
Mhm.
But if you're outside, where do you go?
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go because you're
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, and there's your line of vision is very limited. Even if it's dark and you have a flashlight, if you're in a building, you can see down the end of a hall with a flashlight. But if you're in a forest, you can see to the tree that's in front of you because that will stop the light or it'll make shadows on other trees.
Yeah.
And you just can't get away. Anything in the forest knows the forest better than you. That's how I see it. Any predator that's in the forest knows the forest better than you, whether they're animals or they're haunting it, right?
Mm.
So that I would not enjoy having a scary moment in a forest. That would,
And the worst thing you can have in a forest is a flashlight because it makes it 100 million times worse.
yeah, all the
Like you said about the
shadows.
shadows and this,
Yeah,
that, and the other, it's going to be so difficult to actually um, get around the forest and try and find out where you lose people. It's so easy to get disorientated. Really, yeah, it would. Even though it's on my bucket list, I don't know if I want to go at night. I think I'd
right.
like to just go in the day, have a picnic, then go home.
Okay, the reason I wouldn't mind going there is because I would stay in the middle of the big circle because then I could have a view of everything out there. If it's flat and there's only grass, then I have a view. Nothing can really hide behind a blade of grass. But to stay in amongst the trees, that would not be happening.
No.
And that I think was one of the only two parts of the Blair Witch Project that I found legitimately something that would scare you is being lost in the forest with hearing noises and thinking something's after you.
Mm.
Because, well, the same thing is scary in Deliverance, frankly. In a much different way. But is it though? I don't know. Not if they're aliens. So yeah, that would be. I would go camp in the middle of the circle with you, Rob, and we could put up like a whole bunch of tiki torches with fire to keep animals away. It, I would build myself a little fortress in the middle of that circle, and I would go with you in that case.
And
Okay,
also,
yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
um, people that do go visiting during the day supposedly get sick,
Mm,
they get scratched, they get rashes all over their bodies,
mm.
which isn't very pleasant. I wouldn't have thought. Well, it isn't because I've got one at the moment and I don't like it. And I just said that out loud, and I didn't realize that I've just said that out loud to everybody in the world. Well, thank you.
Well, I've gotten scratched by a ghost, and I can tell you, I don't like it.
Mm,
I got scratched by a something. I don't know that it was a ghost, but it's not enjoyable, and I would rather not have it happen again. So maybe I won't go.
mm.
All right. Are you ready for mine?
Go for it.
I want to go to Salem, Massachusetts,
Oh,
which, by the way, we could do on our Bridgewater Triangle thing. There's a lot of stuff we can do in Massachusetts. If you live in Massachusetts, please leave me a comment below because is it scary as hell there?
so we did that thing on the Bridgewater Triangle, and we didn't talk about Salem.
No, we didn't.
Is that where? Obviously, I didn't realise that's where Salem was.
It's in Massachusetts, yes.
That is crazy. I would love to go there.
Well, let's hit it on our road trip. You bring the Doritos. I'll bring the fruit snacks.
Did they eat? Bring the what?
Doritos.
Doritos.
Doritos. You don't
We
have
said Doritos.
Doritos?
Yeah, the little triangle shaped. Obviously,
Yeah,
we'd have
yeah,
to eat
yeah.
some. We'll have to eat triangle shaped crisps in the Bridgewater
Yes.
Triangle. We can't eat
Yes.
all the sandwiches we make. We'll have to make them into little triangles.
I
You
do
know,
that anyway.
yeah. So do I for my girls. Make them
Do
into little.
you?
Cut the crusts off.
Yes. When I
Put the.
was when I was growing up, that's how my mom made my sandwiches. So to this day, I'm a small child. I like to eat them in triangles. It feels special. So yes, we'll take triangle sandwiches, triangle chips, and well, I'm also gonna take. We also gotta take some fruit snacks. We'll take a cooler with a bunch of shit in it.
I like eating shit.
It's road food. See. Now let me explain something to people who are listening. Rob is not used to the road trips because they don't really do road trips where Rob lives. Where if you're an American and I say to you road trip, the first thing that happens to your head is you go road trip, and we enjoy those. So I know how to pack for a road trip. Okay,
Okay.
you let me do the packing. You let me bring the snacks and the food, and we'll go for a road trip, and it'll blow your mind.
Okay.
Okay, all right. But the point of the story was Salem, Massachusetts. There really weren't a whole lot of actual killings of witches there. Most of that actually started in your part of the world.
Mm.
But anyway, still though, they found where they did hang a couple of witches, and then it was on a little cliff. Not, I mean, I do mean a little one. It's like more like a hill.
All right.
And then they would cut the rope and they would slide down. Well, they found this in the back of the property of a drugstore, pharmacy, and that is just, we talk all the time about how I just can't get my brain around how historical things in the United States have
I understand.
strange,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So have strange things that right next to them, like a pharmacy, and I think it was I don't know. It's like a CVS. It's just a regular everyday American pharmacy, and it's on the parking lot, behind the parking lot. Like when I talk about the Alamo, and I'm like, hey, and right across the street is Ripley's Believe It or Not, and you can get a shirt that glows in the dark. We Americanize, we capitalize everything,
Yeah.
and so it's strange to me that first off, this is private property. So if you go on it, don't. I'm not going to advise anybody to go on private property. But if you do, it's behind this pharmacy, and it's where they hung witches, and they just dropped them off so they could slide down the hill, and
Yeah.
we're done with you. But the whole Salem, Massachusetts, they enjoy that history of theirs.
But I was under the impression that because we talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
I was under the impression that there was like hundreds and hundreds of witches. Not there were hundreds and hundreds of women and men and women that were killed. There
I
wasn't
don't.
actually. There
I
wasn't
don't
actually
think.
that.
No, there wasn't that much. Let's see. Let me look it up. The number
I think it's
of
like 24 or something.
yeah, it's really
That's too
much
many
lower.
anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
because obviously these people are just people.
right. Mostly midwives.
Yeah,
Let me see. Well, since more than 200 people were accused, 30 were found guilty, 19 were executed by hanging,
right.
14 women and 5 men. So, it doesn't sound like that when you're talking about it, does it?
No.
When you hear about it, but yeah, it's a very low number. But Salem in general takes on that history and runs with it. So they have a lot of, shops there, stuff, old taverns, and that you can
Mm.
go and tour and do ghost tours, and I just want to go. I want to go real
You
bad.
you introduced me to a word that I'd never heard before, and I
Oh,
think um, a lot of them were what you would say kitchen witches.
yes, yes, yes. A lot of them were kitchen witches, which is what midwives would have been as well, to treat
Mm.
with herbal remedies.
Yeah, because I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so if they use natural herbs and whatnot to heal, or to help bring on labor or to help the pain of labor or whatever, then they would be considered witches, and today we would call them kitchen witches.
It's
Which,
crazy that. I mean,
yeah,
you can't even get my head around it because what were they supposed to do?
yeah. What were they supposed? Well, I guess because now you have to remember these weren't just any religious Christian religious sect. They were extremist religious sect who probably just wanted to pray over the body, and any disease was probably a demon, and that they had to pray the demon out. And if they died from it, well, the demon won. So probably making herbs and whatnot would have been against their Christian religion as far as healing, I would suppose. Even though these are herbs that God gave them, but you have to remember that's also connected to pagans, because that's what
Yeah.
pagans did. And what is that? What is it called that pagans practiced the? Did you hear my watch?
What did you say?
My watch said, "Uh oh, there's a problem. Please
Is it
try again."
Wicca?
No, it's a form of um I don't want dead air, but it's
Form of
they studied chemical compounds and
alchemy.
alchemy. Thank you. Um, and of course, alchemy was thought to be wizardry. So
Yeah.
it's I don't think it's just any one thing. I think it's the buildup from all the history of pagans and alchemy and blah 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 that comes to a head there.
You know, it's hard work being your memory.
Oh God, right, Rob? I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Exhausted.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you tell me you don't know how to pronounce things, and I pronounce them for you. So it's a trade.
Okay. Bloody women.
Yeah,
That answer for everything.
give me a foreign word that you can't pronounce, and I'll just knock that out. But I can't help me try to remember what a word, and I'm stuck on a word. Sorry.
How can women do that all the time? Turn it round. It's like
Oh, Rob.
we're in the
It's
fraction of a second.
it's thousands and thousands of years of our mothers and grandmothers and whatnot teaching us how to perfect that witchery.
Oh
Before you know
dear.
it, you'll be apologizing. See?
Yeah. Sorry.
There you go. All
Hmm.
right, Rob. What's else? What else is on your bucket list?
Something I don't know if we've ever actually talked about this, but I would love to go to the tunnels and the catacombs underneath Paris.
Oh, we haven't talked about this, which surprises the hell out of me. Yes, let's do it.
I don't understand.
Stop
I was just
it.
surprised. Hello, me.
What?
My watch says, I don't understand. I was just as surprised. This is apparently my watch has become our third podcaster. Every once in a while, she just tries to get smart. I would love that.
Yeah. All. I mean, I don't know how I would feel about all the skeletons and everything like that.
I don't think that would
Uh,
bother me.
because there's people who have gone missing, like literally seriously gone missing and never been found.
You see, that's the part that bothers me. Okay,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to wander too far in because I saw that movie that was really scary,
Yeah.
and I'm not even going to try to think of the name. Where they wandered in and they got lost and things went south. And also the fact that it would probably make me claustrophobic. I would love to go
Yeah.
in, but not for a whole long time. Do you think it's haunted?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do.
Why
I
would the
do think
dead?
it's haunted.
Why do you think the skulls and stuff would bother you?
Don't know. Don't know. I think that maybe because a lot of them have been disturbed, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because basically Paris was sinking, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had to do something about it. So all these graves have been disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not on hallowed ground anymore, are they? They're just
Mm-hmm.
in a big cupboard underneath underneath Paris.
Can you put these in the pantry, please? You know, I think that they wouldn't bother me because I think that well, I'm what I'm fascinated about that I can't get my head around is that like they were real people with real lives. They loved people, somebody's son, mother, daughter, blah 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 blah. And I'd really love to touch that
Mm.
and just feel because they weren't buried there alive.
Oh no.
So now that was the case or tortured or something, then I just could not go in there. I couldn't be a
Mm.
part of that. My whatever it is in my body wouldn't let me do that. Which is why I always wonder, like, if I'd be able to go through the concentration camps.
Oh yeah. Well.
I think that might, like I was telling my husband that we always joke that I cried on the Union boat of the Confederate War, and that the people coming on probably thought I was crying because we the South lost because I was in Mississippi, so they probably thought like this woman is thinking the South will rise again. But there was 13,000 or more unclaimed soldiers right next to it. That's the part, the the pain and suffering that is the stuff that gets me. So I think that going through like the concentration camps, boy, oof, oof, oof,
Mm.
that would be
Yeah.
hard. So because that isn't the situation in the graves under Paris, I think I'd be okay. I
Because
don't know.
also what? Sorry, go on.
No, that's okay.
Because I was when I was doing my bucket list and my research, I
Hmm.
also wanted to sort of lump in with the tunnels and catacombs under Paris. They've
Uh-huh.
got something similar in Edinburgh, in Scotland.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they've got tunnels and miles and miles and miles of tunnels underneath Edinburgh.
What were they used
And
for?
well, they were only discovered um, not so long ago,
Oh.
and they were basically they'd been bricked up and been filled in. So the archaeologists come and got rid of all the rubble and the stuff that was blocking the way because they didn't know they were tunnels. They just thought it was just like maybe an entrance to something. And they
Oh.
found these tunnels, and they're supposed to be really, really haunted.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Mm.
How far away is it? How far away is it from the coast? Could it have been tunnels used by pirates?
So Edinburgh's right in the centre, really.
Hmm.
It's too far away. They do think that there were because there have been remains found down there that there were people actually living down there,
Oh.
and it was a bit of a dirty secret that they tried to cover
Oh.
up, and they think there was prostitution going on,
Hmm.
and it was just sort of brushed under the carpet and hope that it would never be discovered, but it was discovered.
Hmm.
It was in the last sort of 10, 15 years that they found it. It's not a long
Really?
time ago.
Not historical wise.
No, but they date back a long time. But yeah, I'd like to go
Yeah.
there as well.
Well, that's
Mm,
interesting. I'd like to go
mm.
to the Shanghai caves in Oregon.
I don't think I've heard of them.
The Shanghai caves where they would Shanghai steal adult
Oh,
men, yeah,
yeah,
ship them off on
yeah.
boats. I on my bucket list is the Tower of London.
Mm,
You know, I need to go see the Tower of London. I mean, talk about it's 1,000 years of history. 1,000 years. If we
mm,
find something here that's 1,000 years in history, it's it's basically prehistoric here, because it would definitely have to do with some sort of a Native American tribe. It wouldn't have to do with any white people.
mm.
It would definitely be natives or Hispanics down here south. Um, Mayan Indians, that kind of thing. So it wouldn't be like you having 1,000 year history in one building. We don't have
Mm.
that. We didn't have buildings here 1,000 years ago.
No, that's true.
It's so strange. It's anyway. I can, and here I go again saying I can't wrap my mind around it. To think about people walking through there 1,000 years ago, the conditions they lived in, um, the how they dressed, you know. But then the people, if okay, I've said this 1,000 times, and Rob knows this like the back of his hand. My favorite book is A Tale of Two Cities, which involves the Tower of London. And the conditions in the Tower of London were unspeakable. And then, of course, you have the history of all the executions by sharp knife thing that comes on your head. Help
Pardon?
me. What's the sharp knife thing that comes on your head?
Guillotine.
Thank you. A fair trade would be that I would have had to say how to pronounce guillotine, but nope. That used to be where people gathered, like, hey, it's Saturday,
Mm,
it's guillotine time. And
yeah.
you could get the guillotine because you didn't pay a bill to the guy who made your shoes,
Mm,
or your taxes or whatever. For tiny things, you could. I mean, they were killing them right and left because it was entertainment too. So it's just I don't know. I would love that. You've said you've been in the Tower of London, correct?
yeah. Long time
Does
ago.
does it feel? Is it cold and damp?
I felt it was, yeah. I I I I didn't like it, to be quite honest with you. Um, it's. I think you've got to try and imagine it without all the commercialism.
Yes.
That's the difficult part, because it is a tourist attraction.
Yeah, it costs almost $40 to get a tour of it now.
God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
There isn't that much, really. $40. So that's
Yeah.
what, £38, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if you, I mean, just coming away from the town for a second, if you do come to visit,
Yeah.
we've got some of the houses and the church is 600-700 years old around here.
That's crazy. That's amazing. Can you picture the people living there? You know, dirt roads, horses. Can
Well,
you
it's funny,
picture that in your
actually.
mind?
Well, yeah, but funnily enough, earlier we was talking about Grace and her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Where the place I do take them to get a haircut, they've got loads and loads of old pictures.
Really?
If there's not loads of people, if I do take her to have a haircut, sorry about this on a podcast, guys. If I do take her to have a haircut this weekend, I will take some photographs of these pictures and send them to you, and you can see. And then I'll take an up-to-date photograph of these pictures, of where these pictures are, and you'll be able to.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. I love history. I mean, one of the reasons I love it is because I can't get my head around it. I think as humans, we think we're the most important. We're so important. There can't be other life forms out there. And I think history is kind of the same way. Like, I tell my kids about things like when I was growing up of what we didn't have, and they look at me the same way. Like, you had to answer the phone on the wall in your house.
Yeah.
You had to go into like a box to use a phone if you weren't home. They just I told you, Maya didn't know what a phone book was. These things that they think. Jory, when Jory was a baby, Jory asked me if I lived when it was black and white. And him and I are pretty close in age. And he said, "Did you live when it was black and white?" Boy, if that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what does. No, but I lived when VCRs were the size of your fucking TV. But anyway, I think that's kind of why it fascinates me. Is just that these people, I think it makes me feel my mortality, to be honest with you. To think that I don't know the names of the people who walked there. Their life is gone. It's meaningless now. And I think that in me, that scares me. Is that weird?
No, not at all.
I think that's why. Go ahead.
I think that's one of the reasons you have children, don't you? Because you carry on living, in some respects, through your children. And
yeah, but even then, that disappears after probably 2 generations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
If there's people that live in your area that have been born and raised there for generation after generation after generation, they probably can't name the people anymore, I don't know. This is deep. I'll call a psychiatrist and talk about it. But that's in that for the Tower of London is just there's got to be some feelings in there. So that's where I want to go. I want to go there. That's one of my bucket lists. Okay, Rob, ignore me now.
Ignoring you.
You can go do your.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, this is another one that I talked about on my little mini podcast thing, and it's somewhere I think you want to go as well. The suicide forest in Japan.
Yeah. Ugh, that's sad. Yeah.
This place sits at the bottom of Mount Fuji, and this surprised me. It's the second most popular place in the world for suicides. You know where the first place is?
This is first place.
Golden Gate Bridge in San
Oh, I
Francisco.
know this. Well, if you ever get a chance to watch the documentary about they set up a camera for I think it's a year, 24/7. This camera is running and nobody knows it, and they catch people after people after people jumping into um, the water from the bridge. But they also catch the police saving a lot of lives of people who crawl over it and stand there and contemplate it. And they have police that are trained to talk them off. And they did a documentary and interviewed some of these people, and even interviewed some of these people, and then eventually they did jump. One in particular, they followed him quite a bit. He was there very often, and it's really heart wrenching. And for anybody who ever thinks about going to the Golden Gate Bridge and committing suicide, you don't die right away. Your bones break, and the chances are what happens to you is that you drowned. So it's not romantic. It's not fast. It's not easy. And this man who did live through the jump said that halfway down he thought, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have done that," which
Oh
happens
God!
often. Yeah. So and then he started to drown. He was luckily saved, but you got to think about that. It's not romantic. People do not go there and think it's easy,
No,
fast, romantic, or clean and easy. I think people think this is clean and easy, but it's not. It's unfortunately not. There's very few ways to get out without it being painful.
pretty painful and pretty horrendous.
Yep.
I mean, this forest in Japan, it's a little bit like the
Can I can I
um.
can I say one more thing?
Yeah, because you can.
And I'm going to take this moment to say, if you are feeling like that, if you feel like there's somebody you can talk to that is done, please call Suicide Hotline. That's what they're there for. And a lot of times, these are people who have been through exactly what you've gone through and understand exactly how you're feeling. Where sometimes your friends can say, "I understand," but they don't, and you know it, and so it doesn't help. But these people have. So please do that. All right. Since we're
Yeah,
bringing up the subject of that,
and if you're in the UK and you are feeling like that, the Samaritans are always there, and that just like what Tracy said, these people are trained to deal with and help and support and talk to you. You're not on your own. So
yeah.
remember, always remember that. Or you could
Okay.
listen to our podcasts.
Yes, you could.
Yeah,
Halfway through, you go, that took a dark turn.
yes, it did. Well, they usually do.
Yes, they always do. Okay, so Japanese forest.
Sorry, yeah, it would be the same sort of scenario.
Hmm.
You're outside again, and
Yeah.
but people go. This is what I can't understand about people.
Hmm.
People go there. It's like a tourist destination to go
Hmm.
and see, to walk around. I
They
mean,
go try and find a dead body.
yeah. I mean, what is wrong with people?
One of the
What?
Paul brothers. I want to say Logan, but I have a hard time telling them apart. There's Jake and Logan, but I think it's Logan. I think who went to with his YouTube channel to the suicide forest. They found a dead person and they filmed it for entertainment on his YouTube channel. It's not entertainment, people. And the thing about the Japanese one, is that they usually the suicides have to do with honor because that's a historical.
Yeah.
issue with the Japanese culture. They've dishonored their family or something somehow. So not only is it a suicide forest, but it's very um,
Sacred.
sacred. Yes, and yeah, to go as a tourist and they go off the trail to see if they can find dead bodies, and people do. Usually, somebody who commits suicide leaves some sort of a trail to find them.
Yeah, they leave
So
like ribbon, don't they?
yeah, take a ribbon and trail it off so that their families can have their bodies because they were being honorable. That's the point. They were being honorable, and now they can have a burial with their family. They didn't want to go off by themselves and not be found. So yeah, ugh, to make it touristy, but yeah, that's got to be. I can't imagine that is not a place that is not haunted.
Yeah, and there is a really, really good film about it as well, which Tracy hasn't seen, I don't think, but
Mm.
um, it's based on a true story um, called The Forest,
Mm.
which is really, really good. I'll tell you what, I've got a good idea. Let's
Okay.
move on from suicide, and you do next one because I think we've covered enough about suicide.
Okay. All right. Let's move on from suicide. I
Yeah.
would like to go to the Gettysburg battlefields.
Oh.
Um, you know, most the bloodiest conflict in American history. 50,000 young men died in 3 days of a conflict. Many of the soldiers, of course, didn't receive a proper burial. Some of them are, a lot of them were just buried on site. They were in the middle of a war. They didn't have time. They had to. It's understandable, right? You
Mm,
basically you turn your head wrong, get distracted. So they would have people who would run out to the battlefield and medics, what we would call medics are out now, take the bodies off, the injured off. But another thing about the Civil War was they used lead
yeah.
bullets, muskets, balls, things.
Mm,
And something I learned on that tour of that house I always talk about, the McCraven house, is if a lead bullet went through your leg or your arm, it took 15 seconds to remove the limb. They had it down to that kind of precision, which, in the middle of a battlefield. But if it went through your torso, there was nothing they could do, and you were going to die because of lead poisoning. So 50,000 people. Imagine the blood that soaks that land.
mm,
So they have people who see infantry out there, who hear
yeah.
the horns blowing, who hear gunshot firing. I mean,
Have you seen the footage, the famous footage
yeah, I have.
of the? It looks like the soldiers marching
Yeah,
through the trees.
yeah, yeah, I have. I have seen it.
Oh, that is.
Unbelievable. I mean,
I've just got
if that isn't a
goosebumps.
prime example of, if that is not a prime example of the stone tape theory, I don't know what is.
Mm,
That land, literally, the fields on that land, the grass growing on that land is growing from the blood of, it's in the soil. It's in
mm,
the soil. It doesn't go anywhere. It's in the soil. If it goes anywhere, it sinks down to water, which goes back into the us, people who
mm.
live there. It's just crazy. I can't even imagine. And to be out there at night would be scary. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I
Mm.
just would just picture the sounds from when it was actually happening. I don't know, man. That is deep. So to go and just stand there and feel history would be an amazing thing.
Do you know something we've never talked about this?
Hmm.
But it's something I don't understand.
Hmm.
What's your take on these people that do these reenactments?
Well, well, I think that they're they're very proud of their family's history. This was brother against brother, literally. Some brothers would go to the Union side. You'd have brothers on the Confederate side. Families against family. Long lifetime friends fighting each other. I think they're very proud that they they went out and they joined to fight for their cause. And I obviously have opinions of the cause, but I wasn't living then. And no matter what, your loved one was in this horrible, horrible nightmare of a war. And all the men in your family were. All the men in your family would go,
Yeah,
and either side. And so I think that if they want to go and do the reenactment, they try to keep it historically accurate
yeah,
to the names of the people who actually died and where they died.
yeah.
Like, this person died here, and so you're this person, you're going to die here. Um, it was obviously one of the biggest things that ever happened in the history of the United States. It's still something that we can't get right, that we
Mm,
fight about to this day, you know?
yeah.
So I think it's not going to go away anytime soon. And then in the course of history of the United States, it wasn't that long ago.
No, I
So,
suppose not.
have it be a couple hundred years ago, and you have 1,000-year-old buildings.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a couple hundred. That would have been a brand new building when it was 200 years old. You know,
Yeah.
so I think you know um, people are fascinated by it because of the fact that it was brother against brother, and family member against family member, and I think I don't know. I mean I I'm not I wasn't I didn't have family from the South there that I know of. And if I had an uncle who was a, you know, colonel on, in a Union side or something, would I want to go out there and maybe honor his death, or even the Confederate side? Would I want to go out there and honor the fact that, he died for what, or they both died for their country. Either way you
Yeah.
look at it, they both died for their country. So, would I, you know, I don't know if it's my deal, but I can see why people do it.
Is there still prejudice? Or is it
What do you mean?
between the South and,
Hmm.
or is that a question that I shouldn't really be asking?
No, I think there's still. I think that there's still an issue that people in the South want to keep their Southern monuments that honor the generals that were
Right.
for the
Yeah.
Confederate Army. Most of the rest of the country wants to see that taken down. I think that it's a difficult situation because to have a monument, like people will say, no other war in history have we put monuments to the losers, right? So why do you want a monument? Well, and they're saying, well, that's because it's our history. It is our history, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But then, what does that history represent? They were fighting to, own humans, and some Southerners will agree with that. Some Southerners will say they were fighting for states' rights, but it was for states' rights to be able to own humans. But should it be left up? Should it be put in a museum instead? I don't think they should be. I don't think they should be destroyed. Put them in museums. I don't think you wipe off history by taking it away.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's you, you see somebody flying a rebel flag, and that's going to give you an impression of them. Where
Yeah.
no matter who you are, whether you're for it or against it, it's going to give you an impression. So, yeah, and like I said, it's not that old.
No.
So that's I don't know. It's above my pay grade.
Yeah. But I think it's definitely going to be haunted. The area, the whole area is going to be absolutely saturated, like with ghosts
Yeah.
and spirits, and
Yeah.
and that's got to bleed out somewhere.
And
And I think,
so many people claim that they've had experiences that I don't think you can.
yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to go. History wise, haunted wise, covers all the angles for Tracy.
Mhm.
So you got something next? Hey, can I ask you something about that? Do you guys have issues like that, like with Ireland and the British? Do you have things that are long lasting, or even I don't know, different parts of Britain, or that separate you guys?
Yeah. There's because there was the War of the Rose. I don't know if you've heard of the. Have you heard of the War of the Roses?
Yes.
That's was basically Yorkshire versus against Lancashire. Lancashire is red
Ah.
rose. That's why I've got a red rose tattooed on my arm, because I'm from Lancashire, from
Oh, I
Manchester.
see.
And then if you're from Yorkshire, it's white rose. And
Oh.
even the like if you go, you know you're in Yorkshire because all the street signs have got a white rose,
Oh.
even to this day. And when you coming back from Yorkshire into Manchester, into Lancashire, you come into the red rose area.
Oh.
So yeah, and
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, we get it a lot with our football teams. That's
Oh.
why Manchester United and Manchester City don't like Liverpool.
Ah.
It's all to do with trade and and weird stuff like that.
I
In
see.
and in Scotland, you've got the Celtic football team, which was Catholic, and Rangers football team, which was Church of England Protestant.
Ah.
So it all Scotland has taken a lot because a lot of Scots went over to live in Ireland. A lot of the Irish moved over to live in Scotland. So it's very sectarian, um, even to this day. The problems between the Catholics and the Protestants, which
Interesting.
yeah. So I mean, it's crazy, really. But
Hmm.
as someone who was in the army and being a Catholic, see, this was the bit that messed my head up. I think, among other stuff, was the fact that I was a Catholic, a practicing Catholic, and then you get sent to places like Northern Ireland, and Catholics are trying to kill you.
Right.
They didn't distinguish between the soldiers whether you were just seen as British, and
Hmm.
that was that.
Mm-hmm.
You could walk down a street that was Catholic, and you would be abused, and then walk down a street that was Protestant, and they'd be making you cups of tea and bringing you out bits of cake and biscuits and stuff, and then you'd go down the street that was Catholic, and they'd be throwing bricks at you and petrol bombs.
Hmm.
So, we've got our own stuff to be ashamed of.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Okay, so bucket list.
Yeah, this has gone completely off kilter, hasn't it? This one, we've gone right round the houses. Right,
We
another
always do
place.
that. Why do we even bother saying what the topic's going to be? We should be like, this is us going to start one place and end up someplace else, and you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and you're going to be pissed off, and all in between.
A place I'd love to go, I think you would as well, Eastern State Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would love to go here. I have seen so many ghost hunting programs from here, and it looks exactly like unbelievable, this place.
Yeah. Now, wasn't that the one who had the mobster in it?
Um, yeah, Al Capone.
Al Capone, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd love to see that.
his cell's all done out,
Yeah.
like it was when he was actually there.
Yeah. Super fancy.
Yeah, fancy. I love it when you say fancy.
It's how I say posh.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I like to go there too. Okay, so I would like to go. Hold on. I have. Oh. This one is really weird. Totally unusual. A lot of people haven't heard of it. I have done a story about it. Um, but it's called the Lincoln Park Zoo. It's in Chicago, Illinois. And this one is from the 1840s to the 50s. The heart of Lincoln Park served as the city cemetery, which had 35,000 bodies or more. The cemetery was eventually moved due to its proximity to the water system of the city because, nobody wants some decaying bodies going in their water. But then they put a zoo on it.
oh, God. Oh,
So it's supposed to be very, very haunted. So that's very weird. I think I would like to go there just for the. It's very weird, haunting.
mm,
Will you
yeah,
go with me?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, you got another place?
No, that's me all placed out.
Okay, you didn't ever want to go on the Queen Mary?
No, I'm not. No,
Okay,
no.
whatever. Fine, be that way. Okay, there's another place I want to go to. Okay, so let me see if I can find it. This is. I want to go to Georgia because they had a lot of pirate activity. There's Blackbeard Island off the state's coast, where the notorious pirates Booty is said to remain buried to this day. In Savannah, you'll find one of the state's most historic restaurants, the Pirate's House, the oldest standing building in Georgia. Its construction was started in 1734. See, that's the difference between you and me. Like the oldest building in Georgia, 1734. In 1734, they were like, yeah, we have a building. It's 800 years old.
You could get the
Where you
train there,
live,
couldn't you? To Georgia.
huh?
The train
Yeah,
to Georgia,
the
the
midnight
midnight
train.
train. Yeah.
Yeah, could take the midnight train there. Yeah, I got it. I picked it up. Um, anyway, it was originally a home for a gardener, and then it was a tavern for seamen, which is men from the sea. Just to clear that up. And now it's a restaurant. So, uh, let's go. And by the way, the city is mentioned a whole bunch of times in Treasure Island, which was written by Robert Louis Stevenson, and it's very good. And it's at the Pirate House is where locals believe that the captain in Treasure Island, Captain Flint. They believe he died there. So I am digging pirates lately. Don't know why. Have no idea why, but very into wanting to see pirate history because I'm weird like that. And of course, I in New Orleans, they have Jean Lafitte's blacksmith, um, uh, where he was a blacksmith, his shop, which is now a bar, because everything turns into a bar, doesn't it? Or a pub in your case. Everything haunted eventually turns into a bread and breakfast or a bar. And so I've been, of course, to Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop, which is now a bar, but he must have been a very short statured man because it's just not very tall. It's really dark and closed in, and on a rainy New Orleans night during a ghost tour, we stopped there to, well, I had a child with me, not a small child, guys, for the record, a teenage child. So I wasn't gonna get alcohol, but we need to need what? Delete. We did need to get something to drink.
But you had enough alcohol.
I know. We did need to get something to drink and ended up going into Jean Lafitte's um, bar, which was Jean Lafitte, which was awesome. And love it, love it, love it. Anyway, I've been there. So I do like the pirate history thing. Also, Jean Lafitte had stayed down at in Texas. So I'm digging that. And also, North Carolina has a whole bunch of pirate history there that's ghost and haunted. Blackbird's ship was the Queen Anne's Revenge, and that ran aground off the Carolina coast, and I love that. So I'd love to go see that. And I don't know, South Carolina has a pirate's courtyard where Blackbeard blockaded the city in 1718 until he could receive medical supplies for his pirate crew. And Charleston is also where the gentleman pirate Stede Bonnet was hanged that same year. So I would love to go to places like that. So I'm going to go to South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and get me some haunted pirate stuff.
Mm.
And that's not something that's one of the normal haunted places we talk about going to see.
No.
So I thought that would be interesting. The hotel that The Shining was filmed in, or it was about, the one in Colorado.
Mm.
Jory was there, and he said it didn't feel very haunted, but his wife did have an experience. So he thought that he would rather meander around without a ghost tour next time they ever go. So if you're going to go, maybe get some literature on it and meander around yourself. He thought that the ghost tour kind of took away from the experience. Where if you ever go on a ghost tour in New Orleans, they are on it with their history. So you get a historical lesson and a ghost tour, which is awesome. It ticks all the boxes for me. And the place that my husband and I went and took an investigation of, that is a very historical place as well, and has every reason to feel haunted. And I love them both.
Sorry
Are
about
you
that.
there, Rob?
Yep. I apologise if anyone could hear any strange noises. It was me taking my medication.
I think there are so many places that I'd like to go that are haunted that I know I left things off my bucket list. I know I have left things off. Lots of things. I lived in Arizona, and I never went and saw the OK Corral and that stuff. Why? I have no idea. What was wrong with me? Jory's gone several times. He's taken the kids there. I don't
The
know why he
OK
didn't do
Corral.
that. The OK Corral. Do you know what that is?
Yep.
Ah, I'll be your Huckleberry.
Well, thanks for that.
It's from that movie.
Okay.
Anyway, there's no other place on your bucket list?
That's I'm all bucket listed out.
Okay. Well, and all of the Bridgewater Triangle.
Well, yeah,
And
obviously Bridgewater Triangle.
all of the state of Missouri. Not Missouri, Massachusetts.
And a place I'd like to go is the Alaskan Triangle, which is
Yeah.
really, really good timing because why is it good timing, Trace?
Because we are going to do a series on the Alaskan Triangle. Why more people have gone missing there than any other place in the United States. 16,000 people.
Hey?
Yeah, at least 16,000 people have gone missing there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. If you walked into, if they said, "Hey, there's a bookstore down the street and 16,000 people have gone in there and gone missing," would you go?
No.
Nope. But we're gonna go to the Alaskan Triangle. Hell yeah. That won't happen to me. hmm So we're gonna discover what the hell's going on there. You know,
Yeah.
obviously there's gonna be a good portion that is like, "Hello, bear," or people who thought they could handle the Alaskan wilderness and froze to death or whatever. But it started off. I'm gonna give a hint. It started off with a plane crash that killed a U.S. senator, and it has gone south ever since. They it's gone south ever since. So something sort of that's what catapulted it into being the triangle, that incident.
Mm.
So we'll go do a little bit of that little history right there, and we'll start talking about what people see.
Yeah. Can't wait.
All right, Rob. Oh, and again, if you would please give this video a thumbs up, please do that. Please subscribe to this channel. Appreciate it. And go ahead and ring that bell for notifications. You could win the lottery if you do. That's what I hear. I'm not saying that personally. I've just heard rumors that, you could have something really good happen to you. Try it. It can't hurt. It's free. And Rob and I are entertaining ish.
Rob and I are what?
Are entertaining.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said something else then.
No. And I'm working on live podcast. I am working on it. If you are available to help me understand some things, that'd be awesome. All right, Rob. Thank you for doing this.
It's a pleasure as always, Tracer.
I will talk to you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.